Well, there's a legal determination I have to make, and it's not something I dream up. It's there in the Rome Statute, and that is, there's a principle of complementarity that if a state is willing and able, I have no jurisdiction. Only if a state is legally found to be unwilling or unable will I have jurisdiction to investigate as the prosecutor of the ICC. I formed the determination, I formed the decision that Colombia was willing and able, and that's why I closed the preliminary examination. Now, your question is a bit unfair, I think. It's like saying, well, which plane is going to crash? Well, I hope no plane crashes. So, at the moment, I am fortified that my decision was correct. That is supported by what the president of the HEP is telling me, what I'm hearing from other sources. And so at the moment, I think you should be pleased that Colombia is not a failed state. It is taking its responsibilities seriously. It is investing significant financial resources to the work of the HEP. It is trying to protect witnesses. It is also supporting the Attorney General's office financially, and everybody has their own independent responsibilities. And so I'm not hoping for failure. I'm hoping and praying for success. Well, I've offered a number of countries, in fact, that it's open for states to second personnel to the office. We already have an issue. We don't have enough representation from Latin America. And so I established a fund to support countries in transition to send staff to the office so we can learn from them. They can also participate in international criminal justice at the ICC, and we can also learn from them. So the secondees, when they come, they are staff members, they are answerable to me. They work under our protocols of the office, and hopefully they will learn from us and we will learn from them, and that allows us collectively to do better in relation to international justice. When it comes to my hope that I will try to have a presence here in Bogota, I've said it around the world that we need to be closer to the people. We serve the people in communities that are affected by conflict. We can't fly in and fly out. We can't stay in five-star hotels and go in air-conditioned vehicles. We need to be with the people, understand what communities have suffered, understand where they're bruised, where they're lacerated, and understand the different undercurrents, political, ethnic, religious, or political, so we understand the communities better. And I think here, the role will be to give technical assistance to the HEP. The HEP is independent, we're not part of that, but definitely we should be willing to be generous with the jurisprudence and the technical skills that we have, because Colombia has also paid for that. Colombia is a state party. It's about sharing knowledge, transferring knowledge more effectively, so that justice is felt more deeply by the people of Colombia, and by virtue of that, international law generally is strengthened. Well, I think I have my own private communications with the HEP. I'm not micromanaging it. I'm not supervising the HEP, but I am willing to offer the expertise of the brilliant men and women of my office to assist the HEP. If there are issues, technical issues, for example, on gender persecution, it hasn't been prosecuted so much internationally. It's being used also by the HEP at the moment. We've pioneered a policy paper that we launched last December. We are trying to help train up the HEP, and so it's applied more effectively. That's an area where I think there can be improvements here, and also it will lead to improvements in the office in The Hague, because this is a problem everywhere in the world, that we have under-investigated or not completely understood the various intersecting types of discrimination that underpin gender persecution. So more than that, I think I'm not going to comment upon, because there's 11 different macro cases, and of course HEP is a judicial process as well, but we're giving the assistance when requested, and we're monitoring what's happening, and I think there's a lot of cause for optimism that Colombia is on the right track at the moment, but it's not saying that everything is perfect. It's not. A lot of work still needs to be done. A lot of effort still needs to be given to building justice and building peace. Yeah, I think, firstly, I'm not going to second-guess the HEP. In fact, the Memorandum of Understanding signed in October 2021 by President Duque, that's also supported by President Pedro, also underlines the importance of respecting the autonomy of the HEP when it comes to the sentences, the sanctions, the sentences that may be imposed. I think law has the flexibility based upon some principles. The principle is accountability. And you see in different systems, there's a variety of models that are available. Look at the United Kingdom. There was the Good Friday Peace Agreement. People convicted of terrorist offences, whether it's the Irish Republican Army or other armed groups, nationalist groups, were allowed early release on licence. They had been sentenced sometimes for decades to go, and they were allowed early release. Well, this is where the principle of accountability also meets the requirement of peace and justice, and I think you have a HEP that have the autonomy and the independence to hear the accounts and decide on a case-by-case basis what is suitable based upon its own legal instrument that's been established by law. And I don't need to second-guess it at the moment, but we will keep monitoring the situation, and I think with the very brilliant magistrates. I mean, what was wonderful when I met the magistrates yesterday, very good gender balance of women. You have people, indigenous judges from the indigenous community, you have white, you have black, it's very diverse, and that's also important because the strength of this country is its diversity. And I think they will get to the right decision, and we'll follow those decisions when they're rendered. I don't have advanced notice of it. I shouldn't have, because it's an independent mechanism of the HEP, and I will learn about those sentences when the people of Colombia learn about them. I'm not going to comment as a prosecutor in terms of hypotheticals. If crimes are committed on the territory of Colombia, Colombia as an entity has jurisdiction, whether or not the people have fled jurisdiction and gone to the United States, the United Kingdom, or any other third country. That's a basic principle of criminal jurisdiction 101. You don't need to be present in the country for the law to bite if the crime was committed in the country, and I think the different institutions of Colombia will have the maturity and the ability to make sure that any crimes committed in Colombia can be properly investigated, and whether that's by the Attorney General or whether that's by the HEP, we need evidence, they need evidence, and I think we will see what happens in terms of the ever evolving and maturing system of justice that is being built here on the soil of Colombia. Thank you so much.
Gracias por llegar hasta el final del video. Si quieres mantenerte actualizado, no olvides suscribirte al canal del Tiempo en YouTube, activar la campanita para recibir las notificaciones y compartirlo con tus familiares y amigos.